The Interloc Standard Template provides an Eclipse project useful for developing maximal customizations. It integrates Ivy support for dependency management and MX JUnit support for unit testing. It also includes a standard project directory layout with package building and deploying tools. The most recent version of the template can be downloaded from the Interloc Wiki. Go to the technical section, Maximal Project Template. The top links point to the most recent template versions. Project template for writing a reusable library is also available and works in a similar manner to the Maximal template. The wiki page explains the import process, but I'll review it here. First, download the template. Next, switch to Eclipse. Navigate to File, Import, General, Existing Projects into Workspace. From the Select Archive text box, browse and import the template file that you just downloaded. And rename your project appropriately. The major pieces provided by the templates are the directory structure, the build XML, and Ivy XML. The directory structure is composed of the source directory, where Java customizations are placed, the test directory, which contains JUnit tests. The deployment directory contains a deployment XML template that will be populated with the correct class path based on the declared jar dependencies, and the lib directory, which contains the dependent jar files. The build XML file is a standard Ant build script. It provides targets for different development tasks. The build target compiles all of the Java into a jar file. Scrub deletes all the build artifacts. Clean also deletes all the build artifacts, but also removes all the dependent jars. Test compiles and executes JUnit tests. Package packages the customizations into a zip file that can be expanded into the Maximal directory structure. Publish publishes the customizations to an artifact server like Archiva. This is more useful for library type projects. JavaDoc generates JavaDoc for the customization. Launcher creates a launcher to run JUnit tests within Eclipse with all of the class path set up properly. Deploy copies the customizations to a local Maximal directory. This is useful for doing local development. FTP and SCP are targets to copy the customizations to a remote server. When the project is first imported, it references a number of jars that don't exist in the project. I'll execute the init target to resolve those dependencies. The Ivy XML specifies the dependencies. There are different configurations for different parts of the build process. The run configuration is for dependencies related to business objects that will be deployed as part of the customization. Run UI is a similar set of dependencies related to web client. The build process, when it builds the package, will automatically put the jars in the right place. That means for run, it will place it in the Maximal lib directory. For run UI, it will place it in the webinf/lib directory and update the product XML file accordingly. The JavaDoc target or configuration is for JavaDoc. Source is for source code. Reference is for source or JavaDoc that will not be published further. Notice the visibility attribute is either public or private. Public means that whatever is in this configuration will be published as a dependency when the artifact is published. This distinction comes more into place when working with reusable libraries. Build is for dependencies necessary to compile the customizations, and test are dependencies necessary for compiling and running the JUnit tests. The AND configuration isn't really used. Here, under dependencies, are the list of dependencies used that are part of the standard template. Asset management are the business objects for version 7.5. Asset management web client are the UI classes, and right now also 7.5. The syntax here says that the asset management classes will be part of the build and test configurations that we specified up here. These dependencies outline dependencies for running JUnit. It says that the JUnit version 1.5 will enter into our test configuration. Its Java doc will go into our reference configuration, and its source will go into our reference configuration. The maximal runtime is a collection of Java classes necessary for executing the MX server outside of a web server. And right now it's set for version 7.5 and will go into our test configuration. The last piece is the build.properties. The build.properties will get built from the build properties template. In the build properties, this is where you specify environment-specific information, such as the location of your maximal home directory, and whether or not you want different parts of the build process to be skipped. It's also here where you would specify properties for the FTP and SCP transfers. Now that you have the project installed, you are ready to write your customizations.